The trade deadline has taken action in the WHL. Some teams were big sellers, some were heavy buyers. Last chances to make changes to the young rosters, and a last chance for some team to pick up this plug. Crazy Skater nonetheless could really spark a change on any roster. Whether that be a good spark, we will never know, although we could assume it would most likely be a disastrous one. So I thought I'd just quickly go over the whole trade scene here as we saw from the last week. I'm just going to give you guys my 2 cents on each of them. I'm just going to go over the big ones, the ones that really kind of mean something. First ones I noticed here is Boston Billows sent to Moose Jaw for 2 picks. He has not been up to par lately for Prince Albert, and this is exactly why they're doing this, because now they've picked up arguably one of the most underrated goalies, one of the most underrated starters in the entire league, and that's Max Patek from Regina. They sent Jacob Brook and 2 picks over to Regina to claim him. He should really help them out. He should really get Prince Albert swinging the right way again, because it's been tough for them lately. Jaden Joseph got dropped by Kelowna. They sent him to Tri-City for a 6th round pick. This guy, this is his 3rd team of the year and his 6th in the last 2 seasons. The guy just can't catch a break, and he's not even that bad of a player, so it's tough to see. I always hate seeing that happen with players. Kamloops went and acquired Czech Republic's World Junior captain Libor Zabransky in a 1-for-1 deal for Martin Lang. This is a great one for Kamloops. They really have been lacking a lot more, depth on that right side for defense. They're a good right-handed defenseman, and after the World Juniors, Zabransky is someone you should really have been keeping your eyes on. He had 4 goals at the tournament. He's probably going to bring a lot more fortune to Kamloops' back end. And then we get into our first blockbuster here. We see Brayden Tracy. This is a big one here. They sent him out of Moose Jaw over to Victoria. Tracy went alongside with goaltender Adam Evanoff and 2 picks, and Victoria has given up Brock Gould, who was their backup, Nolan Jones, Logan Doust, a 1st pick in 2021, and 3 other picks. Victoria has been a great defensive team, and a lot of that is thanks to some of their great defensemen and their goalie Shane Farkas, but they've really been lacking that offensive touch, and they finally can get something here with Brayden Tracy, a great 2-way forward who has an insane shot. The Anaheim Ducks prospect really needed a change at Moose Jaw. This trade should really help Victoria step up that offensive game a little bit more. Eric Florchek was sent out of Saskatoon over to Vancouver. The Giants sent back Evan Patrician, a 1st round pick in 2020. This is a bit of a weird one because Vancouver, in my opinion, is not going to be making too much of a run, and they're already dropping picks. I mean, I understand your time is now, but your team is really not in a pretty competitive mode right now. I mean, it's going to be tough for them to actually make a proper run and go deep into the playoffs like they did last year, but hey, anything can happen. This is the WHL. We get into another blockbuster here between Everett and Swift Current. Martin Fausto-Rudas gets sent with another player, Parker Hendren to be exact, in a 2020 first for Ethan Regnier and Casper Puccio. This should be a really good change for Puccio. He's arguably Swift Current's best player. They got him in the import draft. He's a pretty slick Finnish defenseman, and playing in Everett with a team that's already so defensively solid, he can really showcase a bit more of his offensive side and really start to improve that draft stock again. We keep going through a little bit here, and just the little trades, just some like rookies for some picks, little stuff like that. But our final big trade, I'd say, it was between Red Deer and Winnipeg. Winnipeg said they were going to try and make a splash, and this is a bit of an odd one. They went out and picked up Dawson Barteau of Red Deer, their captain, real solid 2-way defenseman. He's going to help Winnipeg out on the back line. But what Winnipeg sent back is a little bit iffy. They sent back 6 draft picks. 6. And Winnipeg is one of those teams where, they are doing really good, and honestly, in the past month and a half, they've been one of the best teams in the entire league. But to drop 6 picks, a lot of those, like there's a 2020 second rounder, 2021 second and 5th rounders. These are tough ones to give up because your team is going to be stacked in the next couple of years, and you're going to be building a team around, other players that you should be using draft picks for. You shouldn't be dropping all your draft picks out like that, and it's a little tough. Because down the line, when you are the best team in the WHL, when you got guys like Savoy, you got guys like Geeky coming up, you got guys like Lambos, who's arguably going to be the best defender in the league, you need to trade for more overagers, and now they've kind of almost messed themselves up in regards of that. But it's still a good trade. I still think Winnipeg has a great shot to go deep in the playoffs. They got a real solid roster, and if everyone's healthy and if everyone's playing to their best potential, this is a top team. especially with Bartow on the back end now. And I didn't talk about Martin Fasco-Rudas's impact with Swift Current because he's already out of there. They sent him right back. They sent him to Saskatoon for a team that's kind of in the same situation as Vancouver, honestly. I know they made a trade with him earlier, but Saskatoon's kind of in that brink area. They didn't give up so much for this one, though. They gave up Matej Toman, Cale Ashcroft, and a 6th in 2022 for him. This is a pretty fair trade, you know. Saskatoon's not giving up too much. They're just getting another player that can probably fit in their top 2 lines and really start pushing to try and get into a better playoff position. Whew, now that those trades are done, I can finally get into actual games that happened this week. I'm not going to go too hardcore here just because I do like to keep these a little bit shorter and keep you guys a little bit intrigued. So we'll get into it right away now. Kamloops has been something else since the new year, currently riding a 4-game win streak. Young guys like Stankoven, Bankier, Kiefler have all really started to shine along with the vets who have all been stellar this year. New acquisition Libor Zabransky has looked great after his Blazer debut as well. He scored the game-winning goal against Kelowna. He notched an assist as well. I'll add my brother who enjoys hockey when the bike jumping season is dormant. He said, and I quote, "I like number 7. Quote that because number 7 will be great for Kamloops. I also just want to add that the Blazers in their second game versus the Rockets on Saturday, it was an absolute mess. It was a 7-2 win for Kamloops, but with 5 minutes left in the game, it got ugly to the point where it wasn't even hockey anymore. 9 fights in that time frame, including a goalie tilt between Roman Bazran and Dylan Garand. Adam Foote should kind of be investigated for that in my opinion. It was a little bit dumb, you know. It's gross to send out your line with 19, 20-year-olds to initiate fights with a bunch of 16 and 17-year-olds, which was the line that was out there during the time with the Blazers. And, you know, if you look at something like that outside of hockey, it's kind of a felony. I won't take it there though, but damn. The WHL should do something about this, and because I'm recording this a bit later, they actually did. Kelowna is going to have to pay $3,000 in fines, the Blazers pay $1,500, and then Caden Korzak is getting a 3-game suspension for his actions against the Blazers. Moose Jaw's season continues to crawl closer to the toilet. Coach Tim Hunter was fired, and assistant coach Mark O'Leary will take over in the meantime, but the Warriors also just lost Brayden Tracy in the trade. He got dealt to Victoria. Damon Hunt is still out after his run-in with a skate blade. The team morale is most likely just at an all-time low. I couldn't imagine having to play on this team right now. It must stink. Seattle, though, has been upping the ante. I mentioned them last week, how they've been scoring but not winning. That turned around this week. They won all 3 games, including one against the Silvertips. Guys like Kelty, Jerry Leon, Connor Bruggen-Cate, Andre Kukuchka have all been offensive dynamos lately, including the uprising of 16-year-old rookie Connor Roulette. Seattle's offense is really starting to take flight. And then these are a couple games I want to review here. Portland and Victoria, they had a doubleheader this week, and the Winterhawks had Hofer back. Brayden Tracy's making his debut with the Royals. Neither of these games would disappoint. These are going to be great ones. Game 1 was a shoot-a-thon, 43-31 for the Winterhawks and Royals in respective order there. That game needed overtime where none other than Brayden Tracy would finish the game off, capturing the victory for Victoria 2-1 in overtime. And game 2 would see a lot more scoring. After Seth Jarvis tied it late in the third, OT would be needed again. This time, a more favorable win for the Winterhawks where Jaden Duro secured his hat-trick goal for the game winner, extending the Winterhawks point streak to 15 games. If anything, these 2 games kind of proved that Victoria is actually legit now. They had that tough go at the beginning of the year, but as of the last 2 months, they've been stellar. And if they've proven that they can play against the best team in the WHL, which is Portland, they should really be contenders in that BC division with Kamloops now. Spokane has been really good. Even without Ty Smith, they romped over the Giants twice this week, solidifying their spot at 3rd in the US division. Eli Zumak is currently riding a 17-game point streak, the league's best, and it will still be active going into next week. And then a little update here, the Calgary Hitmen have lost Egor Zamula. He needed back surgery, his condition worsened at the World Juniors, and action needed to be taken. Zamula won't return to the lineup again this season, and bid his farewells to his Hitmen teammates. Zamula ended the season with 28 points in 28 games. This will create a big gap on Calgary's blue line. Alright, we're going to squeeze into the top players here. Number 1, Seth Jarvis. He had 8 points this week, including that game-tying goal against Victoria, huge goal. He was just having a great week. Number 2 is Brett Kemp for Medicine Hat. A lot of people look at Hamlin, they look at Sillinger, they look at Shazowski, but Brett Kemp has been honestly one of their best players. Undrafted, but he's still been great. Jaden Duro is the last one there. He secured that hat-trick in that game against Victoria, giving the Winterhawks the win and continuing their point streak. And for our top teams, we got Spokane, Brandon, Seattle, and Kamloops. Great performances from all those teams this week. Sorry this one's coming out a day late, guys. I had a pretty crappy Sunday, I don't want to lie, and I didn't want to record the rest of my audio while I was in a bad mood there. It would have been a lot worse of a video and a lot less quality. I hope you guys enjoyed the little trade deadline overview though, but we'll go right back to the nice short and sweet ones next week, and I'll see you guys then, and have a good one. Bye-bye.